we doing?
Good, sir. How are you?
Everybody sign in the sign-in sheet?
Good, sir.
You didn't get your name put down? Did you sign?
Good evening, good evening. Thanks for taking time to come to Ladders Basic. First thing is safety. So in the event that we have to evacuate the building for some reason, fire, some kind of emergency, we have two exits. One of them is right here, the other one is right there. Once you exit the building, we will rendezvous at the big green dumpster next to the maintenance building. Water, sodas, soda machine, everything is back there. When we take our break, feel free to have water, soda, whatever you need. Tim Kennedy, I've been with Cole County Fire for about 4 years. I've been in the fire service around 10 or 11-ish. My contact information is on the overhead screens. Feel free to zap that. And if you have any questions in the future, let me know. Just call me. I'm always available. This class is basic ladders. The goal for you all at the end of this class is to be able to identify a ladder, set a ladder up, take a ladder down, climb it, and descend it safely, know how to inspect them, know how to clean them, and what components you need to keep an eye on and check on a daily basis. If you have any questions on anything that we've covered?
Nope.
Very good. If we're ready, so what we'll do is we've got a slideshow PowerPoint. So we'll go through the PowerPoint. At the end of the PowerPoint, we'll take like a 10-minute, 15-minute break. There's a 10-question written test. It's front and back. We'll take the tests. I'll grade the tests. We'll meet individually to go over your tests in the back room over here. Once we've completed that, we'll go over next door and we'll do our hands-on. I assume everybody has all of their PPE with them. So when we go next door and we do actual hands-on ladders, we'll need to be full PPE. Any questions? Anybody need to take care of anything before we get started? Very good. Like I said, Tim Kennedy, that's my contact information. Feel free to call me if you have any questions on anything we covered that comes up later. Good?
Yep.
Ladders, basic ladders, essentials. Identifying the parts of a ladder. So, most everybody here has had access to ladders, dealt with ladders, right? So we've got a single ladder, we've got a roof ladder listed here. The different components of the ladder are basically the same. The beams, the rungs, the butt spurs. The difference between these two ladders is the roof ladder has the open hooks at the top. This is the parts of an extension ladder. Same basic components, but it's doubled up. So you've got different flies. So what components does the extension ladder have that the single ladder and the roof ladder do not have?
Fly.
A fly, correct. Everything else, they also have the lanyard, correct? Lanyard is what we use to pull it up, pull it down, correct? Difference among the types of ladders. We've already kind of covered that. So what are some of the differences between a roof ladder and a single ladder? Hooks at the top. Very good, very good. Single ladder roof ladders. So as you can see here, the roof ladder has these hooks right here that hook over the top. Single ladder, there's the proper way to check. We'll cover that later on to get your angles correct. Extension ladder. So what's the purpose for extension ladder?
They extend the second floor, third floor.
Right, to get up higher. Correct, correct. So we already went over the components to contrast the single ladder, the extension ladder, and the roof ladder. They have the same components on some. What are some of the same components? Beams, rungs, butts, spurs. Correct, very good. Types of ladders in our jurisdiction. So, Cole County, we have roof ladders, we have extension ladders, and we have attic ladders. We do not have a single stick ladder, right? Just a 24, none of our engines carry that, correct? Cleaning and inspection. So, during the inspection, cover all the parts of the ladder, check for wear per our SOPs, right? So how often do we check the ladders? Every use, every month, we inspect them, right? So what are we looking out for when we inspect them? Our heat sensor, heat sensor labels, carbon deposits, blistering paints, discoloration on the fiberglass ladders, right? Have we all seen the heat sensor labels, right? Every ladder has to be inspected every 5 years. I believe it's 5 years. And if the heat sensor label is discovered, what do we do with that? We put that ladder out of service, right? Because it's obviously been heat. If it's discolored, blistered, anything like that, same deal, right? We take it out of service per our SOPs. What are we inspecting? Rungs, tightness, wear, bolts, cracks, defects, areas where the rides in the truck that are worn have abrasions, right? We already covered this a little bit. We'll cover it some more. Replacing heat sensor when it reaches its expiration date as well. So every ladder has to be inspected every so often, and the expiration date on the heat sensors have to be replaced at that time. That's part of the certification. Bolts on wooden ladders should be tight enough. Should not be tight enough to crush the wood, right? We don't want to disturb that wood. Fortunately, or unfortunately, however you look at it, we don't have wooden ladders in our district, right? There's very few people that have wooden ladders anymore. I think maybe Chicago, I think they have their own ladder department where they build them. Any ladders that have been subject to direct flame, heat exposure, high heat exposure, has the heat sensor changed colors, is unsafe to use, and should be removed and needs to be tested, right? We covered that several times. You'll see the same theme several times. If you see some several times over and over and over, probably a pretty good indication it might be on a test at some point, right? Inspecting ladders. Damage is found. Remove the ladder from service. If it's unable to be repaired, destroy the ladder and scrap the parts. Right? So we don't want ladders out there that can't be repaired. If it's not safe, we don't want to get mammo on there and get halfway down and have it break, right? Ladder markings. A lot of departments will put what length ladder it is right there on it. Some of them, they all have the manufacturer date. They should have white tips or reflective paint at the tips. A lot of people put the balance point, so they'll put a mark in the middle. So if you're having to do it one man, right, you're down on people, you have to do it one man, you just look for that mark, and that's the balance point. So you know exactly where that's at. You don't have to think about it. Wooden ladders should not be painted because it can conceal damage to the wood, right? So if we put a big heavy coat of paint on it, we're not gonna be able to see the cracking, splintering, whatnot. But like I said, fortunately, we don't have those in our, so that's manufacturer certification level, electrical hazard label, ladder positioning, and the heat sensor. So we've seen a theme with the heat sensor, right? They've talked about that several times, correct? So that's probably a pretty important thing that we want to be checking on a regular basis. So, inspecting the ladders. Evidence of flame, corrosion, loose and missing parts, cracks, bend, dry rot on the hail. Hail. I've said it 4 times, but I can't say it right this time. Inspecting fiberglass, same kinds of things. Cracks, missing hardware, evidence of flame, corrosion, loose parts, loose and damaged rungs, damage to rubber on the feet, dry rot to the hylar. Boy, I'm telling you, it's gonna be one of those nights, isn't it? Inspecting wooden ladders. Area where has chafed, scratched, darkening the varnish, dark streaks in the wood, marred, worn, shoes rough, or water damage. Once again, that's kind of a mute point for us because we don't have wooden ladders. Any indication of wood should be, if you see any kind of damage at all on the wooden ladder, it needs to be removed from service, right? We've hit that several times. Roof ladders. Hook assemblies, we want to make sure they operate easy, there's no sign of rust, or deformity, and no loose parts, right? A lot of this is just common sense. You just gotta look at it, make sure if you see something, right, check it out. On the extension ladder, the pawl assemblies, the halyard cable, the pulleys, and the ladder guides. So the ladder guides are the part in between the flies that make it run smooth. The halyard, the rope that makes it go up and down, right? And the pulley that associates with that rope, that's all stuff we gotta keep inspected. The fingers and the paws, we want them to operate smoothly, so we don't have to mess with it to try to get it to latch, right? So components, what's the difference between some of the components? They all have the same components, and we want to check all of those, right? Depending on what ladders we're dealing with. What we're dealing with the roof ladder, we got stuff we got to check on that the other ladders don't have, right? Service testing. Before placing in service, this is when we got to test them. Annually when in service, and after they've been exposed to heat or rough treatment. So, rough treatment, that's firefighter, right? That's every time, right? Cleaning ladders. Soft bristle brush and running water, mild soap, solvents to remove the tar and greasy residue, lubricate according to the SOPs, right? So you gotta know your SOPs. Look for damage and wear while you're cleaning and report any defects. Wipe dry after every cleaning, right? And every use, or use. How often do we clean the ladders? After every use, right? Or when we're inspecting,
checkings.
right? Maintaining ladders. Keep the ladders in a state of useful and readiness. All firefighters should be able to perform the maintenance. What do we do when we repair them? We repair them, we restore and replace any worn or damaged parts, or it has to be done by a certified technician, right? So we can't just put the rungs on or whatever. We gotta get a service professional come in and do. Ladder maintenance. We keep hitting the same things, right? Same things over and over and over. Keeping the ladders free from moisture, that's kind of tough to do, right? But store them in a position away from the vehicle's exhaust and heat, store where they're not exposed to the weather elements, and paint only parts to identify or for visibility, right? Some departments have them mounted on the exterior of, we, at Cole County, we've all got ladder compartments, right? Ours aren't exposed to the weather. What are the general maintenance requirements for ladders? What are some of the general maintenance? What do we gotta kinda do? Inspect them, clean them, lubricate them, according to SOPs and the manufacturer's specifications, right? Describing safe practice and use of ladders. Develop and maintain upper body strength. Operate according to the department's training procedures. Wear your full PPE, right? We covered that. We're gonna do, anytime we're on the fire ground, we gotta have our full PPE. Choose the correct ladder for the assigned task. Use your leg muscles, not your back or your arm muscles when lifting below the waist, right? We've all heard that several times over different areas of our lives. Using a leg lock, ladder belt when you're working off of a ladder. We've all done the leg lock, right? You had to do that to get through to be onto the department. That was one of the requirements that you had to do, right? We all remember how to do it. Relocate position ladder only in order to relocate position of ladder only when ordered to do so. Inspect for damage and wear after each use. Secure unattended ladders to a stationary object, right? Common sense stuff. A lot of this stuff is just common sense. Ladders coming in contact with power lines or electrical lines, and anybody's in contact with that, could be a bad day, right? We're not gonna do that. Sliding down a ladder, either feet first or head first, even in an emergency, is unsafe and could result in injury or death. Right? Safety when lifting and lowering ladders. Movements should be smooth. Teamwork is important. The correct number of firefighters for the lift. Bend the knees. Keep the back straight as possible. Lift with your legs. Right? We've seen all these over and over and over and over. Right? We don't want to just bend over all the time. Use our legs. Avoiding electrical hazard. Look up to check. Right? Anytime you stand up a ladder, you gotta look up, make sure you have nothing to look up again before you raise the ladder. Keep a distance of 10 feet from any power source, right? Here we go. So how are these guys gonna raise this ladder here? They can't stay 10 feet away. So you come up with a modified raise, right? Pretty self-explanatory, common sense stuff, a lot of it. All ladders conduct electricity, especially when it's wet and regardless of their construction material. Still, the old wives' tale of, the fiberglass ladders or wooden ladders don't conduct. They do. They all do if they're wet. Positioning the fly. Aluminum and fiberglass ladders. The top fly goes to the outside. Wooden ladders, the top fly goes to the inside, right? Once again, we don't have so we don't have to worry about the wooden ladders in Cole County. So the answer to the question of the test, if this was on a test, would be the fly goes to the outside, correct? Halyard. So, raise it. You don't want that halyard just flopping around there, so we gotta secure that so we don't get our feet tangled up, get your big old boots on, get your big old number 11s. So, you wanna close the halyard and make sure it's tied. How can you avoid electrical hazards? What's the magic? 10 feet, right? We gotta stay 10 feet away from it. How should the fly on an extension, metal ladder, fiberglass ladder be positioned? Outside, right? So, we're gonna talk about how we're carrying the ladder. Pump apparatus and aerial apparatus. So, what's the difference between a pump apparatus and an aerial apparatus? So, Cole County, we don't have aerials, so we don't really have to. Well, 2026, right? It's coming, it's coming. He's ready, he's ready. 1 to 2 firefighters for the pump apparatus, so why do you think that is? It's a little smaller ladder. A little small. The aerial, they're tall, bigger, more people, right? We don't want to kill ourselves. IC or supervisor usually determines where the ladders, what ladders and where to place them, but you must be able to do that on your own. So if somebody says, "Give me ladders," you gotta know where you want them, where they should be, right? According to the SOPs. So this table tells you the length of ladders to the second story, to the second story roof, third story window. We're not gonna remember that, right? So 3 o'clock in the morning, you're gonna grab the longest ladder right? Your second floor, you're gonna get the extension ladder, right? We don't have just a 24, so that kind of takes it out of the equation for us. Kind of limits what we've got. Total length of each section of the ladder. Don't exceed the ladder's reach. Single roof folding ladders require measuring. I'm not sure. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. You gotta check, like the attic ladder. We're not gonna use that to ladder the outside of a building, right? We're gonna use the right ladder for what we're doing. Working from the roof, what do we want? We want 3 to 5 rungs above the edge of the roof. Why do we want that?
You can get up.
So you can go grab something, it's dark, tips are white, you can see that, right? Ventilation, you're gonna work from the upwind side. Why do we work from the upwind side? Where's the smoke gonna go? Downwind side, right? We don't wanna be in there. So if we're gonna do a rescue, the tips go below the window, right at the window seal, right? So we can roll those people out, slip them down our ladder, everybody's happy. Happy. Building walls and parapets more than 6 feet on the roof could require an additional ladder. So, you know, the parapet, you get up on the roof and it's got that wall that hides all the crap, the air conditioners and all. If that's taller than 6 feet, you might have to take another ladder up with you because you won't be able to get over, right, and safely get down to the roof. Luckily, I don't think we have anybody in our district that has anything taller than 6 feet on their roof. Once again, lots of ladder lengths and feet. We're not gonna remember that, right? Nobody's gonna sit down and do the calculations. You gotta know your ladders, know what they can do and what they can't do. So, how are we gonna select the correct ladder for what we're doing? We've got an extension ladder, so it's the second story, right? We're gonna get, if we're gonna ventilate the roof, we're gonna go 3 to 5 rungs above, take our roof ladder and go up, right? Here's the different ways they're mounted. In Cole County, 95% of our trucks are this way, right? Vertical. We have one truck that I know of that have a horizontal, and that's the reserve down at 2. Everything else is this. We have none that have the external. We don't have the fancy mechanical, right? Removing ladder. Know what type of ladder and location on the apparatus. How it's stored and nested. How the nested ladder can be removed. Order in which they're nested, and the bracketry. You just gotta know, you gotta play with them, you gotta touch them, you gotta work with them, you gotta know how to get them out, get them in, how to secure them, right? This is what we talked about earlier. They mark on the external ladders where they mount on the external, they mark them so they know right where to hang them, right? Same deal with the pivot point, the middle, some places marked. Mounting ladder, unlatch. See, we don't have unlatch. We've got the Velcro, right? On the internal, slide the ladder out to the proper carrying point. Firefighters are positioned on the same side for carrying. So both firefighters carrying ladder are on the same side. How we talked about that. How are our ladders mounted here in our district?
Vertical.
They're all dedicated apart, right? Vertical. Correct. We talked about that. Safety concerns. Maintaining situational awareness with other firefighters. Look at your legs, not your back. Look ahead and scan for objects and people and trip hazards. Appropriate number of personnel. So here we go. We've got one guy here. That's a roof ladder. Extension ladder's got 2 guys. This is a 3-section ladder. And then that's the big wooden big boy, right? We don't have those. So these 2 here are pretty much what we have, right? Work as a team. Identify the team leader. Carry the roof ladder with the hooks closed. Carry the ladder with the butt in first, right? Performing a 1 firefighter carry the forward end of the ladder below the eye line. Why do you think we're going to carry it with below our eye line? So we can see. And our tips aren't down low where we're going to turn and knock somebody's face off, right? Safety guidelines for the ladders, we've kind of covered that several times. Any questions on anything so far? We're doing good. Proper use of placing a ground ladder. Proper procedure. So, we're checking for overhead, checking our ground conditions, make sure they're not soft or it's not going to sink. Checking our building to make sure it's stable enough to handle a ladder. Checking our wind direction. The appropriate ladder for what we're doing and the structure that we're laddering, right? Ladder placement. Place the butt in the proper distance from the building for ease and safe climb, right? We went over this already. So the ventilation, we're upwind, right? How many rungs do we have above? where do we place the ladder if we're ventilating? Next to the window, right? If we're doing a rescue, where are we putting the tips?
Slightly below the window.
Right below the window. Very good, very good. All right, placing the ladder guidelines. We've went over this several times. Don't place the ladder over anywhere that it could be in direct contact with heat, right? Common sense stuff, once again. Rescue ladder below the window, we've talked about that. Avoid placing the ladder where it may come in contact with overhead objects, right? Same thing. Avoid placing it on uneven terrain or soft spots. Avoid placing it in front of paths of travel. Avoid placing the top of the sidewalk, elevated trapdoors, or dead lights. Do not place against unstable surfaces. Once again, it's just common sense. You gotta be situationally aware, know what you're doing, understand the safety aspect of it. Climbing, the distance of the ladder butt from the building establishes the angle between the ladder and the ground. If the ladder is too close, it's unstable and it's hard to climb. If it's too far away, then you reduce the load capability of that ladder. 75 degrees is about what you want, right? That's the sweet spot. Here's a nice little picture. Almost every ladder should have this on it. If you've seen, he's got his toes right against the bottom. His arms are straight out. That's the sweet spot. That's where we want to be. We've talked about this, right? Describe the ways to secure a ladder. Ladder locks, leg locks, halyards for the extension ladder, and heeling and securing the ladder with a rope or a firm object. Wear full PPE, right? We've seen this several times. Be aware of falling objects. Stay alert for firefighters descending the ladder, right? Common sense stuff. Here's the proper way to heel a ladder. If you're underneath the ladder, your feet are shoulder width apart, you grasp the beams, pull it into you, look straight ahead. Don't look up, right? Why do we not want to look up? Something falls, gonna hit you right in the face, right? Perfect. Heeling the ladder on the outside. We take 1 foot, put it on one side of it, we grasp the beam once he descends, then we, right, step on both of them and secure them. If possible, we tie it off at the top. 90% of the time, a large percent of the time, that's not gonna be possible, right? Methods for raising and lowering ladders. Raising method. The ladder, the number of people available, and the weather and topography. We don't have a whole lot of people, right? Most of the time, we're task overwhelmed and people short. So we got to work smart. It's not necessary to place the ladder flat on the ground prior to raising, right? Only the butt needs to be on the ground. Transition should be smooth and consistent motions. And that's something you just have to practice. It's just something you gotta keep working at, right? Single ladder carry, extension ladder, same kind of thing. Put it up on your shoulder. Oop. Wow, we went crazy Pivoting the ladder. So we've raised our hilliard and we want to pivot it. Here's the best way to pivot it. Pivot it with the beam closest to, on the beam closest to the structure, right? Keeping it straight. Don't let it get top heavy, right? One firefighter can safely carry a single ladder that is 20 feet or shorter. Extension ladders require 2 firefighters. Sometimes we gotta do what we gotta do, right? Can we move a ladder after it's already been placed in the ground? We can. Is it optimal? No. Okay, climbing ladders. Climb smoothly. Ascend so that there's the least amount of bounce and sway. Check the angles and secure the ladder before climbing. So even if you don't set the ladder, if you're gonna be the one climbing it, check it just to make sure, because somebody may have just thrown it up there, we don't know, right? It's our safety, we want to climb smooth, we don't want that ladder bucking like a bronc, right? Climbing the ladder, eyes forward, glancing up to the tips, keep your arms straight and horizontal, keep your hands on the rungs, don't carry equipment. Okay. Grasp alternating rungs with your palms, hands down, thumb between the rungs. Right? Use your leg muscles. Don't use your arm muscles. You're gonna get tired, right? So what are the steps to keeping ground layers safe? You gotta stay situationally aware. Look up, and then look up again, right? We're looking for overhead, especially electrical. When somebody's ascending a ladder and you're heeling it, we don't look up, right? Ladder belts and leg locks, 2 different ways. I don't think anybody on our department has an actual ladder belt. So leg locks are our leg locks. Do we do a leg lock on an aerial apparatus?
No.
Absolutely not. Why not?
Because the hydraulics
Right.
can lose it.
Somebody, right. Common sense stuff, right? Carrying tools up and down a ladder. You run your, slide your hands along the beams, right? Have something in your hand. Hoisting it when possible. So get up there, take your rope, drop it down, have somebody tie it on, pull it up, right? That's preferred, but real life, we're gonna carry a ladder. We're gonna carry tools. Deploying a roof ladder. Carry the ladder with the hooks closed to the extension ladder. Open the hooks, climb the roof ladder, carry the roof ladder to the roof using leg lock or ladder belt. Place the ladder on the beam of the roof, slide the roof ladder to the peak, engage the hooks on the roof ladder. Basically what we're talking about, right? Extension ladder, got our roof ladder. We got our ladder to the roof. Hooks are closed till you get to the extension ladder. You open it up, carry them up, lock yourself in, place your ladder, slip it up to where the hooks grab the peak of the roof. Ensure that it's secure, right? We gotta stay safe. We kind of just did that. We talked about it, right? Any questions, comments, concerns? Questions on anything we've covered? Seeing none, let's take a 5-minute break. When we come back in, I'll hand you your tests. We can knock the test out and then we'll go from there. Good? laid your tests out in front of you. Be sure to sign your names. Get a little space in between each other. Good? Good? Final answer? All right, good job. So what we'll do is in no particular order, I will, we'll meet up in the back room, we'll go over your tests and see if you have any further questions on the test. Curtis, you want to just start out with you, if that's good? So you did really good. You got a 10 out of 10. So everything went well?
Yes.
You comprehended
Yes.
what we went over? Any other questions on something that I may not have went over, or?
No, I feel
Gray
like
areas.
the content was sufficient.
Okay. Slide, PowerPoint was
Very
good for you, or was there room for improvement on the PowerPoint?
No, I thought the PowerPoint was very well.
Okay, very good. So you did great, perfect. That's all I can ask, right?
Yes, sir.
So once we get everybody through this process, we'll go next door, we'll gear up, we'll go through actual hands-on, and we'll do the skill sheets over there. Those skill sheets are pass or fail, right? There's not a percentage, so
Mhm.
I'll give you a copy of the skill sheet so you can actually see what is gonna be expected. Once we do the skills test, then I'll have to have that back, but that'll give you an idea of what we're looking for on the skills sheet.
Sounds good.
Very good. Go ahead and send somebody else in. Doesn't
Yes, sir.
matter who. Max?
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy. Good job. All right.
Pass.
So you did well. You did miss one.
Yeah.
So on number 9, the extension ladder, right? The answer was actually C. So you want to pivot with the heel closest to the building. Right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Understood.
I was torn between those two.
Yeah.
Right.
But overall, you did really well. Excellent job. Any issues with PowerPoints?
No, I thought the PowerPoint was good. I thought I had a question on one of these. See if I can jog my memory here. This one I thought was a little bit confusing. How can a firefighter safely maintain constant hand contact with the ladder when carrying tools? I ended up choosing B, but I was strongly considering A, use a ladder belt to carry the tool. Could you not use a belt to carry the tool so you can?
Yeah, actually, the ladder belt is mainly designed to keep you on the ladder. So,
Okay.
yeah, the ladder belt, you wouldn't want to use that to carry a tool up with you. You'd either want to have it in your hand and run on the beams like we talked about,
Okay.
or
so
the best
securing the
case
tool to the
scenario
belt becomes
is
an issue.
once you get up, drop a rope, have somebody secure whatever tool you're wanting to the rope, and then bring it up to
Okay.
you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That-
Yeah, but the ladder belt is mainly designed to keep you on the ladder so that you can work, have your hands free, just like the leg lock, right? So you
Okay.
can do whatever work you need to do without having to maintain contact with your hands to the ladder.
Right.
Good?
That clears things up. Yes.
Very good.
Thank you.
So I explained to Curtis, once we get all through this process, we'll go next door, everybody will need to gear up. I'll give you copies of what's expected on the skill sheet.
Okay.
That way, when we're going through it, you can kind of see what's expected. Once we actually do the skill sheet tests, or the skills test, I'll need those skill sheets back. It's a pass or fail, it's not a percentage, so.
Okay.
Any questions so far?
Don't believe so.
Very good. Send
Thank
that in, please.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Savage,
Yes, sir.
how are you, buddy?
Good, sir.
You good?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you did great, very well, 100%. Was there any questions on the test that was worded weird, or any concerns on the test itself?
No, sir.
Okay, any thing with the PowerPoint that was a little muddy, confusing? Could have been better, could have improved?
Oh, I thought the PowerPoint was pretty good,
Okay,
personally.
Okay.
So,
speed,
it
was okay?
perfect, yes, sir.
Okay, very good. I explained to both the other fellows, once we get done here, we'll all go next door, we'll gear up, we'll actually get ladders out. I'll give you copies of the skill sheet test, so you know what's expected on the skills sheet, or the skills test. And then once we actually get into the test, I'll have to have those back. So any questions you have on the skill sheets, be sure to ask before we actually start the test, because once we start the test, can't really answer any questions that you
Okay.
may have about it. Good?
Yep.
Questions, concerns?
No, sir.
Perfect. I'll be out in just a second. We'll secure these, and we'll go next door.
Okay.
And everybody did sign in to the sign-in sheet, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and collect that at this point too, so that I don't forget it. Because I'd hate for you to have to sit through this and then not get credit for it because I didn't turn it in.
Me
So like we talked about, we'll go next door. I'll pull 1101 out, or 1401 out. And we'll get ladders out, you can actually get them on the ground, get our hands on them. Go ahead and give you, you all still have your pens, right?
Nope, you took mine.
I did. See how I am? Pen thief. Both of you guys have. So go ahead and put your name. This is actually the skills test.
Okay.
So you can have this and review it as we're going over hands-on stuff over there. And I think I told Ed, once we start the skills test, then I'll have to have those back, right? But any questions you have over those, let's ask them before we actually start the test, because once we start the skills test portion, I can't really answer the questions, right? So everybody know where we're going next door?
Yep.
Okay, I will just meet you guys over there.
Don't get our PPE.
Yes, please. Good, Max?
Yeah.
So, the ladder compartment, right? Hook out of the way. Go ahead and get all three ladders off. Let's go ahead and just lay them in so we can kind of go over them and identify them. Let's just lay them down. So, a roof ladder, right?
Yes, sir.
What's some of our, what is this portion called right here? The run? Right? This is our rungs. If you notice, the rungs are all riveted on. So when we're checking them, we want to make sure we're looking at them. So where is our heat sensor on this? Right there, very good. Even label. Should be. Number 13. We've got our warning decals. We've got our this side out, right? We've got our heat sensors. We've got all the doors. And this is our other part that is different from this. So when we're inspecting the ladder, we want to make sure that these operate smoothly, right? Nice and smooth. When we're carrying this ladder, which position are these in? Correct. Correct. Any questions on this ladder at all? No?
Sir.
Okay. So this, which ladder is this?
This is the attic ladder.
Attic ladder. So what components does this ladder have that one doesn't?
This is collapse.
Collapses, but it's
Yeah,
also
roof
got,
feet.
right? Same kind of principle. We've got rivets that hold it all together. So when we're checking this ladder, checking it, where are we gonna check?
You know, the rivets are in there, there's no nothing.
What? Right? Pretty simple. And how does this one function? We got our latch there. What we gotta do when we're closing that up, right? Watch your fingers, right. Okay, this one. So, what are our components on this one that neither one of those has? Halyard. We got fly. We got our dogs, right? Remember we talked about dogs? Pulleys. So we got a lot more to inspect with this ladder, right? But how do we clean these ladders?
water or mild soap.
Running water, mild soap, soft brush, right? And if we're inspecting this ladder, so let's do a quick inspection. Right? Does it operate smoothly? Checking our rope. Rope looks good. Where's our heat sensors on this one?
Yeah, one here, one here.
So
See the one that
if
goes
you
down
notice,
up there?
each fly has its own set, right? So that's all stuff we want to look at. Questions on any of this at all? Right? Got all of our labels. Yep. 24 foot. Do we have our tips? You notice our tips aren't painted, right? They said you could paint the tips white or put reflective tape on. Ours are not. Pulley, right? We want to make sure our billiard is in good order. Questions? Any questions at all?
Make sure that's in the center.
Yep. Yep. So when we put this up and we extend it out, which way does our fly go? Forward, right? If it was wooden, inside. Correct. Awesome. So let's do a little practice with the tune in, picking it up, maneuvers, right? Any questions on how to do that? So our firefighters, we got 2 firefighters driving this ladder. Which side are the firefighters?
Same side.
Same side. Who's in charge? Okay. Right. And when we place it, especially with this one, so this is the one we're going to use to ascend. While we're just talking, let's take our coats off so we don't get overheated. Once we do the actual hands-on, we'll put this back on. So just for now, go ahead and take our coats off so we don't get too overheated. So this is like 105. We'll wait for first. Questions on this one? Anything? No? Very simple. So when we're doing this one on our skills sheet, we're gonna have 2 of you bring it over, set it. Since we're on slick concrete, you won't have this on the fire scene, right? But these feet on this slick concrete, we want to make sure and use this to tie it off so that the bottom doesn't take out. That's something you wouldn't have on the fire ground, but to stay safe, because I don't want to have to fill out paperwork on somebody getting hurt, right? We're going to tuck tips up under that so it doesn't come back at us, right? Training, you won't have that on the fire scene, we all understand that. Any questions at all on components, inspecting, cleaning, anything at all? No? Everybody feel comfortable with it? All right, you guys feel confident enough? We can let's put this one, let's put them all back on the truck, and then we'll use this one for our skills test, right? Couple of you pair up, pull it off, set it, can help you? Okay, so here's our skill sets. This is what we're going to be looking for on this. Just so everyone's good. If you have any questions, start the test. We're on the low shoulder, right? I got some glasses. You're not having to check this one. Let's go through that.
Low shoulder method. Visually inspect the work area for solid level footing or overhead electrical wires.
Spot right there.
Stand at a lifting point near the edge of the ladder facing the front end. Kneel beside the ladder and rest on the ladder feet. Place the ladder on the feet. Communicate with each other. What method of carrying you use to lift the ladder? Position the ladder on the shoulder. Communicating with each other, standing off shoulder and the ladder. Position the ladder for carrying. Give the help lower the butt of the ladder slightly. Steady the ladder with hold. Carry the ladder towards the objective, maintaining complete control of
Yep.
Okay.
We gotta make sure to tie off.
We'll probably want those out just a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So, come on over and we'll kind of look at it. So with our setup here, typically you would just put it up there, right? You go, depending on what job you're doing. If you're doing a rescue, we're
Underneath the window.
underneath the window. And if we're working off of a roof,
3 rooms out.
3 to 5 rooms above. If we're doing ventilation, we're breaking the window out
To the upwind side.
to the upwind side, to the top of the window, right? Obviously, we have to use some imagination with this setup. This is what we're dealt with. So you need to extend it, right? Rest it on there and then hook it under that 2x4. And before anybody climbs it, we want to be sure and secure it.
Okay.
But I still need somebody to feel the ladder,
Feel the ladder.
right?
Backside.
Even though we have that, so that we get used to doing that. We train the way we're gonna work on the fire crew, right?
Okay.
Any questions on any of that? Ready?
Yep.
You guys need water real quick before we do that, or?
Okay, I'm good.
Okay, so team up. You guys decide, team up, because you have to, somebody will end up doing it twice, right? Since it's just the 3 of you. But get our PPE on and get the extension letter out, set it. Okay? If you're not doing it right now, you don't need to put it on your cover. Once you actually start. Since it's so,
Since it is.
well, whenever you guys are ready.
Ready?
Alright. I'm ready. Alright. So we're gonna go a little on the left of this heater.
Yep.
We'll raise it there and then we'll get into position from there. So let's set it down, about here and down. We're gonna go ahead and do a beam raise. We'll raise it just like this to avoid the heater. We're gonna look up, check for any power lines or instructions. Let's see how this is gonna heat right there. We're trying to avoid that. So now that you've got a keel, I want you to grab the beam, pull it as I push. Hooks engaged. Are you ready? Yeah, control the motor.
Yep.
Okay. We don't go ahead and raise it.
Yep.
We don't have a lot of room to work with. We'll raise it there to demonstrate the hand to get it against the wall. Raise it.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, up on 3. 1, 2, 3. Walk with the beam. Down one at a time. All right, we're gonna pivot towards you. Get it against the building.
And I guess normally we'd go back to the truck, but I guess let's do our inspection real quick.
Take it out here and do the inspection.
Do it out there. Okay. So now you can see the whole scene, so you'll have control where you have something to do.
Walk out. Stop here. I lay on the ground. Inspect the ladder after the use. Check all the runs.
Check for heat sensors. Check for halyard. Dogs.
These sensors are good. Ribbons look like they're all in. There. Check the feet.
Rides still look good.
Looks good. Pulley look good.
Pulley looks good. All rivets are still intact.
We're good.
Go back to the truck.
Yep.
So, on you, whatever care you want to do.
This midway again, hat, shoulder.
Lift with the legs. We're backwards.
We already-
We got to flip it over. Got it? Yep.
Get back here, so you're not fixing it. Lay it flat. It's in its home.
Yeah. All right. Good. Questions?
I thought we might have been out a little too far. But when he was walking, it looked like it might have been wobbling.
Oh, once you had it set,
Uh-huh.
so
But his arm length is probably gonna be different from mine.
Just a
Definitely
little bit.
yours, the crevices,
right.
not the,
Definitely good.
I mean,
Good. So, you ready? Who wants to partner up with them?
rock, paper, scissors. Ah, 1, 2, 3.
If you're not, you can come out, cool off.
I'll go up here.
Curtis, your lights on, brother. I hear you.
Okay. Do you have any questions before you start? Okay, good. Whenever you're ready.
Then you got low shoulder. Okay. I'm gonna try to drop the butt down just a little bit. No, it's not quite a low shoulder. I got a short guy behind me, so we'll what we got. All right, Curtis, ready when you are.
Ready?
Ready.
Go.
Kind of raise you want to do?
We'll go to the left side of that feeder.
Okay. We'll do feet over hands, beam raise. Beam raise, ready? I'm gonna pull, see if it opens.
Deal. I guess I had to do from the back last time, so I'll do it from the front. Deal right here. So, on my line. Good control center. Fighter out of here. Make sure everything's good. Seats in like they're good. Rear looks good. They're not loose. How's it look down there? Everything looks good down here. The dogs are good. Power looks good. Slides look good. Runs all look good. Alright, and then we'll stow the ladder way back in the ladder compartment. This side is awesome. Yep. Good. Shoulder carry. Alright, ready on you? Go.
Questions?
Good. Feel good?
Good.
Feel hot.
You've done 2 scenarios, 1, 2 overhead. And 2 in the last scenario. You're up. Max has been up the ladder. Curtis has been up the ladder.
It'll be too much work. Okay. Down. Good. Rotate it. Rotate it one more time. Yep. One more run. There you go. Yeah. That's just the right height. Good. Get out of the way for the trip. We'll tie it off here in a second. Okay. Okay, we'll go to the protector. Four corner all the way up. First. Got the victim off. We're going to tie. Victim's been in rest. Out. You ready? Use, we'll go with Instructor liner. the heat. Make sure it goes again. Things again. Okay. We'll tear this one, you go in the heater. Or go. Backwards. And over here, inspect it. What I'm looking for is your fluids in, the belts in, they test on the sun, no damage here. Get the step, fluids are good, things good, fire fixtures are good, one on this one, one on that one. There's nothing here, nothing there. Everything good back there? Very good. Put it up. On this side of it. Questions?
Go ahead and get out. Get out. Everybody.
No, I know there's one thing I did wrong. I should talk more what I was doing.
Everybody grab a water if you don't have one. So, once we get out of our gear, let's grab a water and I'll put the engine away. We'll meet back up over there and we'll go over your skill sheet.
Okay? Fat man sweating. You gotta see the back. Exactly, it's sticking to me too.
All right. So let's go back over in the air conditioning. And we'll go over those skill sheets and it'll be good. You can leave your gear over here and we'll just grab it afterwards.
Thanks, sir.
Up to you.
Thank you.
Up to you. Better, yes? All right, we'll do just like we did on the ribbon. Anybody in particular want to go first?
I can go first.
Okay.
Is that one last? Last one.
Okay. Let's, all right. Well, congratulations. You passed.
Thank you.
Might be a sweaty pass, but you passed.
Pick a cooler day next time. To have a
All
class.
right. So, everything went well. Stick with it. A little practice here and there, right?
Yep.
Might vocalize a little bit more. You did well, but communication is the key, right?
Yes, sir.
Any questions for me?
Mm.
Any questions on any of this?
Mm-mm.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Send somebody else in,
Okay.
and once you grab your stuff, you're free to go. Mr. Campbell. Very good. How'd you feel it went?
It went pretty good.
Good.
I think.
Good. Yep. Congratulations, you passed. You hit all of the things we needed to hit. You have any questions on any of it?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Okay. So down the road, if something comes up, you have my contact. Feel free to contact me, and if I don't know the answer, we'll find out together. All
I
right.
appreciate that.
Very good.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
You're free to go. Send in Curtis. Yes, you look a little hot. You look a little wet.
Yeah.
How'd you feel it went?
It went very well.
Good, good. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Anything that you saw on your end that I could do better or improve on?
You hit all of the qualifications. Might communicate a little more, right? When there's two of you, communication's the key. Just the more you do it, the smoother it'll get. But you passed. Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Congratulations. You're free to go. Yeah, so congratulations, everybody. For everybody, train as much as you can, get as many outside department trainings as you can, and, you guys are free to go. Enjoy your evening. Try
Thank
to
you.
stay cool.
Appreciate it, thank you.
You bet. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, thank you.
Is this somebody's, oh, that's mine.